Hello, I'm Tommy Oakes, and this wonderful lady's coming next to me here. Feeling a little warm. That's a wonderful fire we got blazing back there. And appreciate the KCM boys for building that fireplace for us today. But this is my wife, Patricia, and we have been married over 50 years. In about a month, we will celebrate anniversary number
59.
59. I started to say 60, but we got one more year before we get 60. But in December of this year, we will have been married 59 years. And they've been great. You know, one thing that you read in the Bible about humans is that we are created in the image of God. And people have pondered for years, you know, what does it mean that we're created in God's image? Well, one thing is that we're creative. You know, God is a great creator, and those in his image also create. My wife, Patricia, is a wonderfully creative person. Everything about her life is creative. You should see our house. Maybe sometime we'll do this program. Well, part of our program is done at our house. And every now and then, if you watch one of my programs or one of John Thomas's programs on Knoxville Community Media, or every now and then Patricia is on there with us, you'll see glimpses of our house. Everything from the way she decorates a house to the way she serves a meal to the clothing that she puts on us. She's just super creative. But she's a wonderful storyteller. And she has written all kinds of wonderful stories about things that have happened in our lives. And today, what we want to do is we just want to tell you some stories about stories. I'm going to show these books to you. If you would like to get a copy of these books, I think that can be done, can't it, KCM boys? We might be able to put something up. We cannot. We're not selling, but if you'd be interested in reading some of these, not selling, reading, you can find a link, I'm hoping, when we get done. Can you work on that, KCM boys?
You can
Just write us.
Just
write us.
Google Pat Oakes.
Oh, just Google Pat Oakes. And you can read all these stories that she's going to talk about today. Now, this first book here reminds me of the scene behind us because it has a rocking chair, which was one of our favorite rockers, and it's in front of a fireplace in one of our favorite homes, isn't it? And so the title of the book is this one is not green, but she had a green rocker when she was younger. And why did you name this the Old Green Rocker, Patricia?
We lived on Burnhurst Drive in Fountain City. Used to be Old 7th Avenue. And our porch was lined with green rockers. And Mother would sit there in the evening and read to us or sing to us. And so that's where I came up with it.
Yeah. The Old Green Rocker was a place where
I tried to get Jason to draw me a green rocker, and he never did.
He never did. All right, that's one thing, that one moment, the great failing moment of Jason's life right there, when he did not draw his mom a green rocker.
So I put a brown one.
Otherwise, he's been a good boy, but that one moment, you know, we almost disinherited him for that. But at any rate, we want to look at some stories behind the stories that are in these books. Now, the Old Green Rocker has all kinds of stories in it, but there's one story in here called Be a Clown. How did you come up with that story? Tell us a little bit about that. What's the story of that story?
Be a Clown is about Amos, who is, I guess the director, is that the official term of KCM?
I'm the director.
He's the director.
The director. We call him Jason. He goes by Amos. But he came home from school in the first grade, and he was so excited. He said, "Mom, all of us are going to dress like clowns tomorrow, and we're all going on a parade, and we're going to have the best time." So I said, "Oh, that's great, Jason." So I got a pair of old pants that were too short for him and a shirt of his daddy's. And his daddy, for some reason, had a pair of rainbow-colored suspenders at the time, and I got a red beret and put on his head, and I painted his little cheeks real bright red and sent him off to school. And all day long, I couldn't wait for him to come home. So I went to school to pick him up, and he came running out to the car, And I was just full of myself. How was it, Jason? Did everybody think you looked cute? What was the parade like? And then he interrupted all of a sudden. He said, Mom, I forgot the parade's tomorrow. So I started laughing so hard. And I drove around the front of the school to see his teacher, and she saw me coming, and she started laughing, and she said, Jason is a joy to us. Said every day he brings us happiness. So my conclusion to that was, go out there and be a clown. It doesn't matter if anybody else is, you be a clown.
That's a great story. Thank you. And that story is featured in Patricia's book, The Old Green Rocker. Now she has another book here. The cover of this book was put together by our granddaughter, right? By Gillian Oaks, who did this. And the title of this book is The Little Big Apple.
Yeah.
Why did you call this book The Little Big Apple?
Because there's a lot of stories in there about New York. We lived in New York City about, 7 different times. Every time we'd see a place come up for sublease, we would head to New York. And so a lot of the stories in there are about New York. Yeah.
Okay. And although it's called the Big Apple, there's a lot of wonderful little things
Little
happening there,
things.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a small town in many ways, isn't it?
Yeah, it
It's
is.
like a city full of small towns. We discovered that at least. All right, now there's one story in here I'd like for you to tell about in Little Big Apple. It's one of our family's favorite, called The Fire Escape.
Oh.
Can you
oh
tell
dear.
us the story of the fire escape?
It was around February, and it was bitter, bitter cold. If you've ever been to New York City in the winter, it gets bitter cold. We found out pretty quickly we didn't have the right clothing, so we all bought heavy coats. We were living in Brooklyn at the time, and our landlady was just amazing. Her name was Alice, and we lived upstairs in Alice's, we called it row house. She had 3 stories. And this particular weekend, she was gone, and Tommy and John Thomas were gone, so I was in charge of her cats. Now, Alice rescued cats off the city streets in New York, and she had, I think at the time, about 17. And she had rescued one that was pretty wild, so she kept it separate from the rest of them, and she kept it in her spare bedroom. So she asked me to feed the cat this weekend. So I got up on Saturday morning, bitter, bitter cold, and I don't know, one of the boys, I think, had bought me some little Valentine house shoes. So I had my little flannel pajamas and my Valentine house shoes on, and I went downstairs to feed Alice's wild cat. And I went in the bedroom where she kept it, and I gave it the water and the food. And when I tried to leave, the doorknob fell off. And I panicked because the door would not open. I tried everything. And I started pacing back and forth, praying, Lord, please help me figure out something, because Alice was going to be gone all weekend. John Thomas and Jason were going to be gone all weekend. I was stuck in this room with a cat. Upstairs, right over this bedroom, was John Thomas's room, and it was on the fire escape. But we always kept that window locked because I just knew somebody would come in and murder him in his sleep. So I started praying, Lord, please let the window be unlocked. So I think the temperature, I looked later that day, was about 18 degrees. So I opened the window in my little Valentine house shoes and flannel PJs and started climbing the fire escape up to our room. I got to the window and it pushed open. And I know the Lord did it because we always kept that window locked. And I came out in the bedroom, and I did not grow up in a church that shouts, but I shouted. I shouted all over the apartment, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus. So
Okay,
that's
wonderful.
the story.
Wonderful story from the Little Big Apple. All right, now here's another book that was illustrated by our granddaughter, Gillian, and it's called Love of the Little. And why did you call this book Love of the Little?
Because I like little things. I like little tinkly wind chimes. I like glitter. I like confetti like out there. I found little tiny bird feathers. I always pick them up when I find them. Anything little and tiny. Fairies, I love fairies, but not F-A-I-R-Y-S, but F-A-E-R-I-E-S, which is the old
A
spelling.
better spelling. You
Yeah,
like that.
the old spelling.
Okay, all right. So in The Love of the Little, there is a story called What Are We Going to Do Today, Daddy? Can you tell us that story?
Okay. Actually, there may be a picture in there
Okay,
if we could show it.
all right, let me see if I can find it.
When the boys were little, we have two boys, John Thomas and Jason Amos.
There it is. There's-
We'll wait to show it.
All right.
When they were little, every day they would get up. First thing out of their mouth was, "What are we going to do today, Daddy?" Because Tommy is our event planner, and he always has been. He thinks he is in charge of what we do every day. So the boys would get up, "What are we going to do, Daddy? What are we going to do today?" When they were in school, they'd come home. As soon as they got in the car, "What are we going to do this afternoon, Daddy?" And always when they were growing up, we never got babysitters or anything. We took them to everything. And when Tommy was preaching in a local church, we would go with him sometimes when he went to the hospital to call on people. But the boys, of course, couldn't go in. So we would wait outside for Daddy. And when he came out, we got to do fun things. And one of my favorite pictures of them sitting outside on a bench at the hospital in Johnson City waiting for Daddy. And if you can
I don't know if we
see-
can zoom this in or if I can take it up to the camera or have.
They're zooming it.
Are they going to zoom in?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it comes.
There's John Thomas was about 6 and Jason was about 2 in that.
Yeah.
Jason
Waiting
Amos.
at the hospital. Yeah. What are we going to do today, Daddy? Thank you, boys.
And the way I ended the story was that we should be that way with Jesus. We should get up every day and say, "What are we going to do today, Papa?"
Good. Now, this is Patricia's latest book called Prisha Patter. And this book came from her blog. If you're interested too, you can Google Pat and find her blog online, I'm pretty sure.
It's just PrishaPatter.com.
Just PrishaPatter.com. And she just has an ability to see wonderful things happening and to record them. And so from Prisha Patter, let me pick a story. One of my favorite stories from Prisha
I know
Patter
what
is
you'll
about
say.
Doll Day. You want to tell the Doll Day story?
Yeah. I'm going to tell about where Prisha came from
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry. Yeah.
When Caleb, our grandson, Jason's oldest little boy, he probably wasn't even 2 years old, but he called me Papa. He called Tommy Papa and me Papa. And everybody kept saying, "Well, what do you want him to call you?" And I said, "He'll figure it out." And one day I was coming up the walk and he saw me and he said, "Prisha." So I've been Prisha ever since.
Yeah.
But Doll Day always makes Tommy cry. When I was at the elementary school in Fountain City Elementary, for those Knoxville people, we always had after Christmas what we called Doll Day. And all of the kids would bring their favorite toy and get up in front of the class and tell about it. Now the boys didn't bring dolls, they brought cars or whatever, guns, whatever. But we still just called it Doll Day for some reason. So every year I took my doll that I got for Christmas, and so proud, and got up, told about my doll, till I got to the 6th grade. Got up that morning, got my dolly ready, went to school, walked in, nobody else had a doll. And I was so upset. I don't know why I didn't know. I guess I didn't get the memo that you didn't take your doll after the 5th grade. So I shoved my dolly under the desk and grabbed her out when I went home. Took my dolly, never took another doll to Doll Day.
And I grieve for little Dolly being shoved down at a desk all day, and for Patricia in the 6th grade, realizing that she could not bring her dolly anymore to school.
I guess I could, but I would have been.
Bittersweet story.
Yeah.
Well, Patricia has been a wonderful wife and a wonderful mother, and our boys paid tribute to her over and over again. one thing that John Thomas, our oldest, has done is he's written some songs about her. Well, I think Jason wrote one too, but John Thomas has one he's going to share. Are you ready in the other studio there?
I'm ready.
Tell a little about this story, John Thomas, and share it with us if we can.
All right. Hello again. This song was written in 1989 when I went to school down here at UT. We were living up in Upper East Tennessee, and I got to missing home really bad, and I got to missing Mom really bad, and so I went down in the basement of Morrell Hall, which isn't even there anymore on campus. But I sat at that old piano down there and wrote this song for Mom and recorded it on a little cassette tape and sent it to her in the mail. And so this is the first song I ever wrote for my mom. It's called One Girl. It's a big world, lots of nice girls, but only one girl has my heart. She holds me steady when I feel dizzy. She stood beside me, yeah, from the start. Don't ask me how she does it, I just smile and say she's a once in a lifetime lady. She's a once in a lifetime girl. Don't know what I'd do without her. She got a certain way about her. Don't know what I'd do without that girl. Sundown out of town, you'll find us downtown, just walking around town. That's where we'll be. Daytime, nighttime, she's always got time. She'll make and take time to spend with me. Don't ask me how she does it, I just smile and say she's a once in a lifetime lady. She's a once in a lifetime girl. Don't know what I'd do without her. She got a certain way about her. Don't know what I'd do without that. She can change a pumpkin to a fancy crystal coach, or a dusty dress into an evening gown. Mice are merely horses in the magic of her spell. She's paramount and priceless, a practically perfect princess. Don't know what I'd do without that girl. Some girls tease me and some girls leave me, but one girl loves me and that's no lie. She's my lady and I think maybe I'll be her baby until I die. Don't ask me how she does it, I just smile and say she's a once in a lifetime lady. She's a once in a lifetime girl. Don't know what I'd do without her. She got a certain way about her. Don't know what I'd do without that. Don't know where I'd be without that. Don't know what I'd do without that girl. Thank you, Mama.
All right, that was John Thomas Oakes, the very first song he ever wrote for his mama when he was in college.
I didn't know he was going to do that.
Yeah, that was a little surprise for Prissy here. And what we're doing here, friends, if you just joined us or if you have been with us, we've been looking at the books that Patricia has written and just sharing some of the stories out of them. This is the first book Patricia ever wrote. It's called The Old Green Rocker, based on a memory that she had of a green rocker on her mother's front porch and a green rocker that her son Jason never drew for her. There we go. We're kidding Jason today, teasing him. All right. Share another story about the old Green Rocker here. I noticed one of my favorite stories is one in here called the Manger Rearranger. You want to tell
Yeah.
that story?
Actually, I think Tommy and John Thomas wrote a musical about this one. It was Christmas when I'm pretty sure Jason was living in California, maybe. I can't remember exactly. I'll have to look at the story. But at any rate, I hadn't seen the grandchildren, and they came to the house for Christmas. And Caleb, our oldest grandchild, loved my manger scene. And it was an old manger scene that I had had since Tommy and I first got married. And it had a little music box on the side that played Silent Night. So I would always put the manger scene out very first thing and arrange everything just perfectly, you know, with the baby in the manger and Mary and Joseph and all the animals out here and the wise men and the shepherds out here. And when Caleb got there that Christmas, he just loved playing with that. And he'd wind the music box up. It played Silent Night. And they stayed for 2 or 3 days. And when they left, after they left, I walked over and the manger scene just looked terrible where Caleb had been playing with it. It had all of the animals and all of the wise men and all of the shepherds were just shoved in there around the manger. There wasn't even room to turn around. And I thought, well, that's just not good. I'm a very organized person. So I pulled everything out, arranged my animals out here, and our shepherds and my wise men. And I walked away and I turned back and I thought, Caleb had the right idea. We should all be trying to get in as close to the manger and baby Jesus as we could get, instead of as far away from him as we can get. And I've just never forgotten that. And every year when I put my manger scene out, we've even added a lot of things to the manger scene that are kind of funny in a way. But all of us, everybody on this earth should be trying to get inside, close as we can get.
If you ever came to our house about Christmas, you might see any action figure, any little stand-up thing that we can get stuffed into our manger scene. So we bring it
Because
all
they
in
all
close.
need to be close.
That's the manger arranger.
Rearranger.
The manger rearranger. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay, Little Big Apple. Let's do another story from the Little Big Apple. This is one of my favorite memories of when we lived in New York City. And I like for Prisha to tell this. She calls it the three-eyed stove.
Okay, Tommy sort of fudged on that one. I had to correct him. He thought it had one eye, but I started out. We lived in this, was it a 4th floor walk-up?
Mm-hmm. 4th floor.
4th floor walk-up in New York. And if you pushed your finger into the window sills, it was soft. It was actually a fire hazard.
Wow.
And we had a stove that only had 3 eyes working, no oven. And we asked to get it fixed, never got it fixed. So Thanksgiving was coming, and I was determined to do everything that I always cooked for Thanksgiving because my mother cooked it and I had to cook it as well. So I went to the store and got all the ingredients and started cooking. And I knew I couldn't bake. I knew I couldn't get a turkey. So we decided to get a tofu turkey, which was a horrible mistake. Everything else was pretty good. But while we were cooking, 2 more eyes went out. Maybe 1 more. I can't remember.
No, it was 2.
Okay.
It was 2.
And somehow I managed to finish cooking our dinner on that 1 eye. And as well as I can remember, it tasted just like it did when we had 4 eyes in an oven.
She put together a now you're looking at a special woman here, aren't you? She put together a full-fledged Thanksgiving dinner, tofu turkey and dressing. I mean, mashed potatoes, vegetables. She baked a pie, bread, everything on top of that little old gas stove with 1 eye. So we had a full Thanksgiving. Had people in, had friends in, didn't we?
Sam Holzapfel, if you're watching, he was there.
Sam was there.
And he
was
dearly
David
loved-
Was David Cornu there? Or just
No, just Sam. He
just Sam?
dearly loved the tofu turkey.
Sam and Grace. Sam and Grace.
Yeah.
Were there, yeah. And so it was a wonderful Thanksgiving meal there, all done on one eye. She's just a wonderful woman. She's a powerhouse. As a matter of fact, John Thomas wrote another song about a powerhouse woman. You want to come in here, John Thomas, and we'll share this song. He wrote it for a musical, but it applies so much to Patricia. You want to tell about the musical or a little bit?
Yeah, I'll need your mic.
Okay, here you go. No
Let's
problem.
trade.
There.
We decided to write a story. Dad read a story that this fellow named Grady Parsons wrote at the storytelling festival, was it?
In the storytelling department.
The storytelling department at ETSU. And it was a male version of Cinderella, and the Cinderella character was named Chipper. So we decided to write a musical based on that, and we just reversed everybody. And we made the Cinderella character a kid named Chipper, and he had a wicked stepfather and stepbrothers. And he fell in love with the judge's daughter in the county named Sorella, and she became the equivalent of the handsome prince in the original story. And so when the fairy godmother shows up in our version of this story, she looks like Dolly Parton, and she pulls in this giant tour bus. And so we did a whole country thing with that, and it was just a lot of fun. But this is the song that the fairy godmother sings, and it makes me think of my mom. But it's called Nothing's Stopping Me, and it goes like this.
I'm a demolition derby, climbing over the counterfeits. I'm the cause of the big commotion. I'm the sound when the atom splits. I'm a hellish hot tamale. I'm the boom in the cherry bomb. Just look at me and you have to wonder, where the heck did the girl come from? Try and stop me. I know what the final score is. Block my exit. I know where the other door is. I know how to make an entrance, raging like a tempest on the sea. Ah, there ain't nothing stopping me. Yeah. I'm the roar of the roller coaster, and I'm the sap in the fist of Zeus. I'm the flame in the fiery furnace, and I'm a jolt of electric juice. So try and stop me. I know all the curves and angles. Tie me up. I know just where the knot untangles. Swinging like a wrecking ball, coming in just like the cavalry. Oh, there ain't nothing stopping me. I heard you when you SOS. Now you can get it off your chest and put this angel to the test. I'm here to do what I do best. I'm a shot of sweet espresso. I'm the queen of catastrophe. I'm the scorch on a summer's shoulder. I'm as bad as a girl can be. So try and stop me. Easier to stop a freight train. Fence me in. I'll jump the gate just like a great thing, burning like a forest fire. What's it gonna take for you to see that there ain't nothing stopping me? No, there ain't nothing stopping me. Nothing stopping me.
That was Tracy Moore.
There you go. It was Tracy Moore
Tracy
singing
Moore.
that song.
Yeah.
But Patricia certainly is like the fairy godmother here.
I didn't know that's going to
their
be about me.
She didn't know it was going to be about her, but it is about her. Oh, okay, yeah. I said some things you probably didn't hear there. As far as I know, they were all clean. But here we go, going on. We've been looking, paying tribute to and looking at some of the stories of my wife Patricia, and who has written 4 books. One's called The Old Green Rocker. The other's called The Love of the Little. The other one is called The Little Big Apple. And her latest book is called Prisha Patter. If you would like to read any of her stories, you just look her up online. You can read them for free. She's a wonderful writer. And we've been looking at some of the stories that are in her book. I think we're in the rotation back down to The Love of the Little. And there's a story in here about my wife is an exceptional woman, and she had an exceptional mother. And I think this story is about your mother, isn't it? God will take care of you. Mm-hmm. Okay, why don't you tell us that story?
Okay, how much time we have?
We go right there.
My mother grew up in Hubbard Springs, Virginia, which most people have never heard of. If you've heard of Big Stone Gap or Pennington Gap or Jonesville, it's Gate City, up in that area. I think that's called Northwest, isn't it, Virginia? Anyway, she...
Southwest.
No, maybe. Anyway, she graduated from grade school, and the high school was in Flatwoods, which was a train ride away. And there were only 2 in her high school class, her and another boy, and they competed all the time in math. Kind of reminded me of Anne of Green Gables. But she would get home at Wilbur Nose Stores, where the train pulled in at night, and it was always after dark. And she'd have to walk the train track down to her house. And I asked her one day, I said, "Mother, aren't you scared to walk home that late at night?" And she said, "Oh no." She said, "I just sing God Will Take Care of You all the way home." So every time I hear that song, I think of Mother.
Mm-hmm. Be not dismayed, whatever betide. God will take care of you.
Beneath His wings of love abide. God will take care of you. God will take care of you through every day or all the way. He will take care of you. God will take care of you.
If you've ever been up along the train track up in the mountains of Southwest Virginia,
It is Southwest.
it is very lonely up in there. And I always get this picture of this little old teenage girl in the darkness of the night walking down the train track singing God Will Take Care of You. And that story expands in your family to when you were a girl too, doesn't it? You want to just tell the rest of it too?
Yeah, Dad, Tommy asked me to tell this at church one time because my cousin was there. I had cousins, we were all real close, and I had cousins who lived in Wytheville, Virginia. There were 7 in my family and 6 in her family. And when the polio epidemic hit, it hit Wytheville, Virginia harder than any other place in the country. So my aunt called Mother and said, "Can we move in with you?" Now we lived in a small, tiny little 2-bedroom house. And there were 6 of us and 5 of them. So 6 of us let 5 more people move in. And my little cousin Jack was a baby, and he got sick, and my aunt was scared to death that he had polio. So she called the doctor, and the doctor sent some medicine into the drugstore, and my cousin Barb and I went to the drugstore to pick it up. And it was dark coming back. And Barb had heard that story about Mother, and we were coming back from the drugstore, and Barb said, "Let's sing God Will Take Care of You." And she grabbed my hand, and we sang God Will Take Care of You all the way home. And I'd forgotten all about that. She told that story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, great. God will take care of you. From The Love of the Little. All right, let's go to, Prisha Patter, this book here, and tell us another one. You just pick one of the, we got some stories written down here. Do you like one of those better than another? We won't be able to tell all of them.
I think I'll tell another one about Caleb.
Okay.
My grandson Caleb, Cal. He lives in California now, too far away. But he'd come to the house every now and then and stay with me. And along about noon, I'd say, we'd eat lunch, and I'd say, Caleb, let's go in here on the couch and get cozy. Well, he knew that meant I wanted him to take a nap. And he did not like that. And he'd try everything in his power to get on that couch and get cozy. And one day I said, Caleb, let's go get cozy. And he looked at me and he said, Tricia, I don't like you very much. And I said, Caleb, I don't like you very much either. Get on the couch.
So listen, if your grandma says let's get cozy, you get on the couch. All
That's right.
Do what she says, whether you like it or not. All right. Okay. Well, let's go through. I think we have time to go through the rotation one more time, and I'm just going to pick up each book and invite Patricia to tell one story here. We've got the Old Green Rocker here. Tell us a story from another one from the Old Green Rocker. I see she's pointing to 8th and Jane. That's one of our family's favorite stories, 8th and Jane Street. All right, go ahead.
This may take a while.
Take your time. We got time.
Again, we were living in Brooklyn, but we went into Manhattan just about every day. And one weekend, Tommy was gone. I can't remember if John Thomas was gone or not, but I went into Manhattan. I was at the bookstore, and I was just looking through the Christmas books. It was getting close to Christmas. And I saw this book called 8th and Jane Street. And I stood in the bookstore and read the whole thing. And when the guys got home, I didn't have any money. So when the guys got home, I said, we've got to go back and buy that book. And the story was about a family who came to the city every Christmas and had for years and sold Christmas trees. And they set up in the village on 8th and Jane Street. And I think they were from, do you remember? Vermont.
Billy Romp.
And they had a tiny little RV that wasn't as big as this room. And there were 4 children. Let's see, Timothy and Patty was the mother, and Henry and the little girl, and I can't think of her name, but anyway, they came every year and set up there. The story's wonderful. You can probably still find it.
The dad's name was?
The dad's name was Billy Romp. Mm-hmm. So I read this wonderful story and bought the book. And at Thanksgiving, we had friends, Dean and Amy Mathis and their son Luke, who were coming to spend Thanksgiving with us. So when they got there, I said, we're going to go get a Christmas tree, and we're going to the village, and we're going to buy it from Billy Romp. So they said, okay. So we got on the train and rode to the village. Now, the village is different from like Upper West Side and Upper East Side. Everything up there is in grids. You can find your way. Everything in the village is jumbled, and it's hard to find your way. So we were walking around trying to find the 8th and Jane Street. Finally, I looked ahead, and I saw these lights strung up, and I had seen that in the book. And I said, I think that's it. So we started going, and we got closer, and I saw Billy, because I'd seen his picture. And I looked, and I said, there it is. And I went, Billy! And I went running to him, and he just opened his arms, and I ran into his arms. And Dean looked at Tommy and said, does she know him? Tommy said, no. So we bought our Christmas tree and brought it home on the train, and it was just the most magical, magical Christmas I believe we've ever had. And actually, we've gone back to see Billy several times since. Patty has died since then, but that was, I think, one of the most wonderful Christmases that we ever had.
Uh-huh. Yeah, if you'd like to have a good trip this holiday season, just go get yourself a tree and then take it home with you on a bus or something.
Yeah.
Just every time we took that tree on a train car, people would just light up and we'd sing and they'd wish us Merry Christmas. It's just a wonderful thing. Carry a Christmas tree around.
And it wasn't a small tree. It was a big tree.
It was. It was. Okay, let's see. That was from the Old Green Rocker. Let's go to the Little Big Apple and give us, you got another story here that you want to tell out of the Little Big Apple?
I think I'll tell this one.
All right, yeah.
We had gone to Disney World, and there was a new ride open. It was what was that ride? The one that went up the White Mountain.
Back to it was
Space
the
Mountain?
What?
Space Mountain?
no,
No.
it's the one the Himalayan
Oh, yeah.
the Abominable Snowman ride. What was that thing called?
I forget what it's called.
Anyway, it was a new ride, and it was a roller coaster. And our granddaughter Gillian was maybe 4 years old, 5 years old, and she was too young to ride it. So she and Papa decided they'd go get her face painted while everybody else, I didn't ride, but I was with them. So they went to get Gillian's face painted, and after she got everything, her face all painted, I can't even remember what she was, she said, Papa, this was maybe on Thursday, and we were there for a whole week. She said, I'm going to keep this on till I go home, because my other Papa and Blayla all want to see me with my face painted. And Tommy said, I don't know, Gillian, I don't think it'll stay on that long. Yeah, it will, Papa. Well, you'll be going swimming. You'll have to get a shower. I don't believe it'll stay on. Yeah, Papa, it'll stay on. Tommy said, I don't much believe it will. She stopped and looked up at him and said, Papa, you don't know everything. So that's become a saying in our family. When Tommy acts like he knows everything, we say, Papa, you don't know everything.
And I truly don't. I truly don't. But I do know it's been a wonderful trip to be married with to Patricia now for over 50 years. A lot of these stories, I was there with them, and she's doing a good job of telling them. Let's see, that was from the Little Big Apple. Let's get another one from the Love of the Little. All right.
Okay.
Whatever you like there. Go ahead.
I grew up in the Fountain City Christian Church. My parents and our family were charter members. And there was a wonderful woman in that church named Miss Margarita Minot. And everybody called her Miss Margarita Minot. I don't know why. And just a sweet little lady. Well, I had left home and gone to college, and then Tommy and I got married, so I really didn't know Miss Margarita Minot very well. But one day after John Thomas was born, we were headed out for the weekend. Tommy preached at a little church in Meadowview, Virginia, and we left Johnson Bible College every weekend and went up there to preach. And as we pulled out, by the way, we made $50 a week. And as we pulled out, I said, Tommy, we don't have enough formula. John Thomas couldn't drink milk. He had to drink something, soy or something. And he said, okay. And I said, we need to stop somewhere, and we don't have the money. He said, okay, we'll figure something out. So we stopped at the post office, which was at the end of the drive at Johnson, and he came back to the car and handed me a letter from Miss Margarita Minot. And I didn't even know that she knew me that well. And it was addressed to us at the college, and I opened it up, and there was $10 in it. And it said, I was just thinking of you. Love, Margarita Minot. And I don't know, well, I do know how she knew that we really needed that $10. And it bought our formula. We went on and preached and got our $50 for the weekend, enough gas to get back home on. So.
All right. Now, we don't have but about 5 minutes left in our program today with the two of us. But I would like for a lot of people, if there's anyone watching in Knoxville right now, there's one lady that's pretty famous in Knoxville if you are in certain circles, and those circles would be among the homeless population in Knoxville. And that lady was Maxine Rains, who was the founder of a ministry that was called Lost Sheep Ministry for many years, and it's now part of the Knoxville Dream Center. Pat and Maxine were very great friends, and they did a lot of work together. There's a street in Knoxville, and Pat's books have many stories about Maxine. There's even, if you want to look it up with your GPS, there's a little street in Knoxville that Pat managed to get named after Maxine Rains. And Maxine and Pat just shared a lot of wonderful moments. I'm going to ask Pat to just tell a little bit about Maxine. You got a little time. If you got a story you want to tell about her, you can tell it, or you can tell any story.
You don't want me to tell
you
that
Tell
one?
that story right there. Yeah, how you got that.
Or I
load.
could just tell one about her. It'd be quicker.
Yeah, whatever you would like. She's got hundreds of stories of time spent with Maxine in some of the rougher areas of Knoxville.
Yeah, I'll tell this one. You should check out the road sign though, Maxine Rains Road. She and I would go out on Friday night for about 2 hours and talk to the girls who, to put it delicately, worked on the streets of Knoxville. And we became great friends with these girls. There were probably 40 girls that we knew by name. And one night we were we always went in pretty rough areas of town, and we were driving and we saw a girl who was pretty intoxicated. And Maxine said, "Pull over, Pat." So I pulled over and we got out of the car, and the girl looked and she just threw her arms open and went running to Maxine and said, "Miss Maxine," and just grabbed her. And she said, "I want you to come to my house." Well, this girl, I guess, lived on the street and in a house too, and it was pretty bad there. And I said, "Maxine, have you got your 911 ready?" And she said, "In my hand." We started walking down the street, and there was a house down there. It had 4 men sitting on it. And I said, "I hope that's not the house." It was. We got close, and one of the men literally dived off the porch yelling, "Miss Maxine," and fell into her arms. So I felt like the whole time that I was with her, that I was with Jesus. And I even told her one time, I said, "Maxine, I'd follow you anywhere," because I always felt like she had an extra somebody watching out for her. Mm-hmm. Wonderful, wonderful woman.
Every Wednesday night you'll find Patricia, if you want to have a conversation with her, down underneath the Interstate 40 bridge serving a meal to some of the people who are having a hard time of it. It's right across from the Carm there underneath that
And
bridge.
Salvation Army.
And the Salvation Army area. And not hard to find, but it's on Wednesday nights. Now we just have 1 minute, a little over a minute left, and we're going to share with you to close out a song that we have sung to each other for over 50 years. And she didn't know we were going to do it. She may not even remember it. It starts with you asking me my name, you know.
Okay.
All right. We've sung this song since we were dating. You ready?
I can remember how it goes.
Yeah.
What's your name, little boy?
My name is Lemmy.
Lemmy what, little boy?
Let me kiss you.
Is that too low?
What's your name, little girl?
My name is Ida.
Ida what, little girl?
I don't wanna.
What's your name?
What's your name, little boy?
My name is Lemmy.
Lemmy what, little boy?
Let me kiss you. What's your name, little girl?
My name is Oscar.
Oscar what, little girl?
Oscar my mama. What's your name, little boy?
My name is Lemmy.
Lemmy what, little boy?
Let me kiss you. What's your name, little girl?
My name is Alla.
Alla what, little girl?
Alla right.
Well, thanks for sharing. Again, if you're interested, you can look up patoaks.com. Enjoy the many, many more stories we didn't get to. This is Tommy Oaks and Patricia saying thanks for being with us today.
Thank you all. everybody. Thanks for staying tuned. Sorry about the audio on that last show. There was an unplugged microphone, technical glitch, public access TV. What can you say, right? Well, I think the Oaks family are gearing up. Are you all ready?
No.
Good grief. They're gearing up to do their next little thing. They're going to do a Halloween show. We're so excited. I know Halloween's over, but it's still spooky season. Chili, fireplaces, ghosts and goblins. Those go all the way to Christmas, right? Well, thanks again to the Asian Cultural Center. Check out that QR code. Scan it and donate on some cool auction items. Donate! 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 Are you all ready yet?
Almost. Get there.
All right. How about a joke? How many public access employees does it take to screw in a light bulb?
How many?
I don't really know because we don't have the budget for light bulbs. How many public access employees does it take to get really bored during a government meeting? Just one! Those meetings are so freaking boring! But we love you, City of Knoxville and Knox County. Thank you for all your support. But your meetings are boring! Okay, are you all ready yet?
We're ready.
They're ready! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls!
Greetings and welcome to the KCM Halloween Memorial. We know Halloween is already passed, but you may have missed it. I don't know if KCM did a Halloween special. Did you do one? They did not do a Halloween special. Some of you knew there was something missing from your life, and the thing that's been missing from your life is the celebration of Halloween. So we're going to celebrate here, in retrospect, the holiday of Halloween. I'd like to welcome everybody to KCM to the 24-hour marathon. We're in the middle of the day, but the marathon will go through the middle of the night tonight. And as you go through the middle of the night tonight, perhaps you will carry with you some residue from the KCM Halloween Memorial. Welcome to everyone. And the first offering we want to make is a song that John Thomas wrote. This is the first song he ever wrote. I think we have a video of it, do we not?
We do. My brother and I wrote this together. Amos and I. It's the first song we wrote together. It's called Here Come the Skeletons. Should be the #1 video for this horrifying next hour. So please enjoy and take warning. Take heed from Here Come the Skeletons. Do you see it up there?
They're looking for it.
They are looking for it. Yes, the suspense has got to be killing you by now.
Yes. There's going to be suspense in this show, and here it comes. They have found it.
All right.
So here we go. The very first song John Thomas ever wrote with his brother. Ready, set, go.
JT Oaks I love because he wears Jim Caruso's Cast Party t-shirts all over the world and takes pictures of himself in front of things. Isn't that so good? I love that. I love that. And then he sends them to me and we post them and oh, the fun we have. It's kind of like being famous, except sad. But he's from Tennessee. You're from Tennessee, right? Yes. Yes, he's from Tennessee. And every once in a while he comes up. He has an act with his family that is unbelievable. What's the name of the act of your family? Oh, cornbread and butter beans. How are your family? How is your family?
My family's great. My nephew's with me tonight.
Hi, nephew. What's his name?
His name's Cal.
Cal? Okay. Nice to see you. I'm from Dallas, so I feel like I can do that.
Meredith is from
And not be beaten up. Yes. Yes, I do know that. Yes, yes. What are you going to do for us?
Well, I'm going to do, it's kind of a polka rap.
Oh, good.
They told me that's what I specialize in.
Yeah, Billy lives for the polka rap.
It's seasonal.
Seasonal polka rap.
Yeah.
Security.
Look behind the closet door, look under the bed. Skeletons, skeletons running through my head. Up inside the attic, in the basement down below. 4 and 20 skeletons dancing in a row. All around the neighborhood, knocking on my door. They ate up all my family, now they're coming back for more. I hear their bones rattling, I hear them in the hall. I heard it on the radio, they overtook them all. I'm locked inside the pantry and I hope they pass me by. 'Cause if they open up that door, I know that I will die. Here come the skeletons, 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 here come the skeletons walking through the door. I thought I heard a gobbling. They said it was the wind. They cut the lights and shut the door, and there it was again. It sounded like the scream of an immortal soul from hell. I heard an evil's deadly voice, and I began to yell. And then from every corner in my dark and dismal room, 1,000 glowing eyes were staring at me from the gloom. And then they started creeping toward my bed. And then they started chanting scary curses of the dead. They closed in through the windows. They climbed in on the drapes. They came in by the hundreds. They blocked every escape. They grinned at me and glared at me. I wished it was a dream. Then I felt their scaly claws and I began to scream. Here come the goblins. 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 Walking through the door. I've had my share of terror. I've had enough of haunts. I've had my fill of monsters, so I've learned to say, "Avaunt! Halloween's a coming, so beware, be on your guard. Watch out for the mummies and the zombies in your yard. Wear a cross around your neck or Dracula will bite you. Never underestimate the creatures of the night. You'll want to carry matches in case you ever find that you're stuck inside a dungeon face to face with Frankenstein. Never swim in ponds at night or lakes under the moon, or you will run into the creature from the Black Lagoon. There's aliens and poltergeists, witches by the dozen, and body snatchers make us very well and made your cousin. There's ghosts and ogres, ghouls and spirits, buggers out to get you. You better make a necklace out of garlic, that'll fit you. Stay away from open graves and tombs and haunted houses. Spiders, rats, and vampire bats, and frogs, and snakes, and mouses. You've heard the warning, mark my words, the moon is in my eyes. You better run because I am a werewolf in disguise. Here comes Dracula, here come the goblins, here come the skeletons, here come the scary ghosts, here comes the monkey's paw, here come the skeletons walking through the door. Yes, Billy Fritz! Bernie Torres, Buddy Payne!
Oh, I felt like we needed another chorus.
All right, there. That was John Thomas sharing a terrifying moment at Birdland in New York City on a Halloween. His first Halloween song, first song he ever wrote was a Halloween song, Here Come the Skeletons. All right. What we want to do, what Halloween, we're having the KCM Halloween Memorial here at this point in the KCM Marathon, and we're going to share something very helpful and economical. I'm sure that many of you spent a lot of unnecessary money this Halloween on things like masks and costumes. And if you are like me, you may have noticed that those things are becoming extremely expensive. Well, what Halloween retrospective program would be complete without a handcraft moment? We're going to have a handcraft moment here, and I'm going to show you how to make an economical Halloween mask, all right? Now you start by going to a well-known department store where you can buy one of these. Now, have you ever priced? What I want to show you is how to take this inexpensive object and create an expensive Halloween mask. I have priced the Halloween mask that we're going to make from this, and believe me, it costs like tons and tons more than this. This mask costs less than $1. So next Halloween, you may want to go shopping at some well-known department store, and you may bypass all those expensive masks and buy one of these little cheap, what is this, Friday the 13th mask? All right, now you can use this if you want to, and you can have a lot of fun for less than $1. Now let me show you how to take this less than $1 thing and create something that's very expensive, namely the Phantom of the Opera mask. Now, all you have to do is take the handy dandy mask, get yourself a pair of scissors, everyday scissors. Most people have a pair of scissors in their home. If not, you can probably borrow a pair from your neighbor or the local hospital. You go there first to the inexpensive part of the department store and you buy this. The one I paid for, this one was 93 cents, believe it or not. Get that, 93 cents. Now, but we're not going to live in the world of 93 cents. We're going to go much more expensive. And here's what you do. You get yourself a handy dandy magic marker or a Crayola. Then what you do is that you make some cut marks on this, all right? And what you do, you got to realize that the Phantom mask, that you have to show those gruesome teeth, and you may have gruesome teeth already. You don't have to spend any money here. But what you do is you take your magic marker. Of course, you remember the Phantom's mask showed those gruesome teeth down here, but it also showed one gruesome eye and went up through here like this. See what we've done? You can do this, right? I'm sure that confidence is starting to overflow out there in TV land right now as we watch this. I can see confidence oozing through the projection room here. I can see the KCM workers just exuding with confidence that they can do a mask like this. Then you take your handy scissors where you have marked and you cut with those handy scissors all the way across the way I'm going to do right now. Just give me a moment while I play that creepy music. Let your heart beat, and I will cut up through here. I'm going to show you something that's near amazing.
I want to wear safety goggles while you do this too.
You could wear safety goggles, is correct, because
Plastic can fly.
plastic can fly and break. You might want to wear protective gloves, I don't know. All right, we're almost there, friends. Have patience. And you're just going to be literally astounded at this handcraft moment here at KCM. Now, you can take this half here and just use your imagination, whatever. But look at this half. What we have created, friends, is a bona fide Phantom of the Opera. Yes, there are screams of terror throughout KCM right now for this horrible, horrible Phantom mask. You would pay $30 for this. Look, I checked online. A $30 mask for a pair of scissors, magic marker, and the 93-cent Friday the 13th mask. And that, friends, is our handcraft moment for the Halloween memorial here at KCM. Thank you very much. I gotta say one thing.
I mean, the savings.
Watching KCM can save you a lot of money.
The savings alone is worth
The savings alone is worth being a part of this, isn't it? Yeah. John Thomas now would like to share one of his little favorite songs about, many people get scared along this time of the year. And he has a very therapeutic song about being afraid. John Thomas, would you like to share that with us?
I certainly would. It's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Wait a minute, is his voice coming out?
Check 1, 2. I
Okay,
think so.
yes. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yes. Whenever I feel afraid,
Thank you, John Thomas. There's that song.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Isn't that therapeutic?
Yes.
I think so. All right. Now, there are many areas of the world. We just had to clean up a little spot over here in KCM where one of the workers wet his pants, but we'll deal with it. All right. Where am I in the program? I know there are many folklore legends, and if you've ever gone south of the border, maybe you have heard of the Tijuana pig dog. Maybe you haven't. Lots of people who've gone to Tijuana and went out into the regions around Rosarito there and spent the night have heard the barking and the howling of the Tijuana pig dog and the squealing of them. They're quite terrifying. And the story of them is rooted in that area's folklore, but it's grounded in some truth. And John Thomas did quite a bit of research, and he wrote the true story of the Tijuana pig dog, and we have it here at KCM.
I didn't write it, I chronicled it.
He chronicled it. I'm sorry, he did not make this up. He just
chronicled it from the truth.
Reporting it. Yes. And so now we're going to play you the story of the Tijuana pig dog here on KCM video.
Here we go.
Go, roll it, boys.
Come and listen to the tragic tale of Wetchasuiwi. Before the days of Stonehenge or the beach at Normandy, a tale of woe and evil sure to paralyze with dread every heart that hears the message, Wetchasuiwi is dead. In a place they called Tijuana lived a people of the land, stout of heart and strong of spirit, clear of mind and skilled of hand. From the dawn until the twilight, every worker plied his trade, weaving spirit, wind, and storm into each deerskin shoe he made. To this peaceful tribe there rose a chief named Wetchasuiwi, and he ruled the great Tijuanans with a calm proclivity to work beside his countrymen in rain or snow or shine, to herd the deer of Mexico with a sturdy drift of swine. In those days the winter snows would blow for all that they were worth. In the days ere global warming came to microwave the earth, but the pigs of Wetchasuiwi would herd in any clime, so that brave Tijuanan tribe could make the moccasins in time. With their sturdy snouts and vicious tusks, the swine would plow the ground, digging furrow after furrow with a savage snorting sound, as the tireless strong Tijuanans walked behind and planted crops of frijoles, jalapenos, maize to sell from all their shops. Wetchasuiwi, Wetchasuiwi, suiwi, Wetchasuiwi. At harvest time the crops were heaped in piles upon the sleds. In the early morning hours all would rise up from their beds and hitch the pigs in teams to drive the sleds along their route, full of jalapenos, maize, frijoles, and the deerskin boot. All the tribes of southern Mexico would long to see the day Wetchasuiwi's provision sleds would finally come their way, for they lived in squalid poverty, neglected and confused by the evil Silas Pompadour, by whom they were abused. In the town of Rosarito lived this cruel and brutal man, the rank and rotten ruler of the Poodlewalkie clan. In the hills of Rosarito lived the poodles of the wild, and he treated them as if each poodle was his only child. King Silas was a hateful soul, a nasty rancid king, vile, vampiric, villainous, but oh how he could sing. The Rosarito poodles came in rain or sun or sleet. As he charmed them with his velvet voice, they'd gather at his feet. The poodles howled in ecstasy as Silas sang his songs, songs of anger and revenge for all injustices and wrongs that the king of Rosarito said that Suiwi had done. But the truth is, he just made it up to have a little fun. Silas Pompadour, Silas Pompadour, Pompadour, Silas Pompadour. When the sun would fall, King Silas rounded all the poodles up, from the strongest alpha male down to the weakest runty pup. He'd file their fangs to wicked points and teach them special barks as they frolicked on the sands, attracting unsuspecting sharks. The poodles slept all day, and at the setting of the sun, King Silas took them to the beach where they would play and run, luring sharks a little closer till they swam within their reach. Then they'd bite them with their steely fangs and drag them to the beach. It was on an evening such as this, fate just fell asleep, as the brave Tijuanan sled pigs tried to pass without a peep through the Poodle-Walkie territory, safe and undetected, little knowing they would soon be faced with what they least expected. As they traveled on the Rosarito beaches, they were met by a foe of fierce ferocity they'd not encountered yet. There before them on the shoreline, an eviscerated shark, and a chilling sound upon the wind, a Poodle-Walkie bark. It was many weeks before the pigs returned with ruined sleds, covered up with blood and filled with stacks of severed heads. I hesitate to tell the rest, because I know your food'll want to come up if I tell you how the wounds were caused by Poodle. Wetcha-soo-wee-wee, wetcha-soo-wee-wee, soo-wee-wee, wetcha-soo-wee-wee. When the pigs returned to camp, they broke their harnesses and squealed, and the tribe of Wetcha-soo-wee-wee knew all their fates were sealed. Before the sun had set upon that blood-besotted day, 7,000 brave Tijuanans soaked the desert where they lay. As the fat Tijuanan sled pigs filled their stomachs to capacity, a truth emerged to test the very limits of veracity. For in due course the sows would soon spawn legions of cayudos, for their wounds were heavy with the spawn of Rosarito poodles. In the months to come, the southern tribes of Mexico set forth to inquire about their lavish benefactors from the north. They arrived to find a dry and dreary, baked and barren land. Why Tijuana was abandoned, they just could not understand. That night they made the sad mistake of setting up a camp, and they pondered round the fire till someone quenched the final lamp. From the desert in the stillness came a low and deadly growl. As the moon came up, the offspring of the pigs began to howl. As the unsuspecting Mexicans slept soundly in their dorms, the pig dogs crept with foul intent upon their placid forms. The ending of this tragic tale is just too sad to sing, with the only mercy being that they never felt a thing. Wetcha-soo-wee-wee, wetcha-soo-wee-wee, soo-wee-wee, wetcha-soo-wee-wee. Some will say the pig dog is a story meant to scare, and that howling in the desert doesn't mean that something's there. But I have known of children who would disobey and whine, and smirk and scowl at mom and dad, then thinking all was fine, would go to bed self-satisfied, expecting pleasant dreams, then wake right up to jowls and fangs while horrifying screams escaped their throats mere moments ere the pig dog closed its jaws. By now I hope this sordid saga serves to give you pause. And remember, on some starless night you may just hear the cry of the vile Tijuanan pig dog 'neath the black Tijuanan sky. And if you do, stay in your tent, don't take a midnight stroll, lest the pig dogs tear you limb from limb and steal your wretched soul.
Well, hello, friends. I hope you have registered in your consciousness if you were ever south of the border, you will beware the Tijuana pig dog. But you will also be knowledgeable of why people who live there have great respect for that animal. Now, let me give a warning too about our show. This is the Halloween Memorial Show, and I want to right now warn anybody who's watching about the end of our show. If you're faint of heart, if you have uncertain nerves, you should probably turn the TV off now. Because as we get close to the end of our show, I plan on telling the worst Halloween story ever told. The worst. It's not for people who are squeamish. So if anyone in this studio, any of the guys in the studio, are just a little bit nervous and find themselves sometimes having trouble sleeping after hearing horrible, terrible things, you should probably take the rest of the day off and get away from here. Because during the end of this show, I plan on telling the worst Halloween story ever. But the show should not be all heaviness, should it? We want to have a little lightness here, so we'd like to provide you something here with this KCM Halloween Memorial with a little humor that you can store away and save for next year. And by this time next year, you can just share these wonderful Halloween knock-knock jokes with all of your friends. So here goes this year's Halloween Memorial knock-knock jokes.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Fred.
Fred who?
I'm afraid of ghosts.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Emma Fred.
I'm afraid who?
Emma Fred of ghost too.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ice cream.
Ice cream who?
I scream when I see a ghost.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting ghost.
Interrupting.
Boom!
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Spell.
Spell who?
WHO.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Mummy.
Mummy who?
You mean you don't even know your mummy?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Philip.
Philip who?
Fill up my bag with candy.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Suspense.
Suspense who? Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Dishes.
Dishes who?
Dish is a very bad Halloween joke.
I agree. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Which?
Which who?
Which of you can fly my broomstick?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Howl.
Howl who?
Howl, you make it through Halloween alive.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Vampire.
Vampire who?
Vampire State Building.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Disguise.
Disguise who?
This guy's a werewolf.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline who?
Jacqueline Hyde.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Gladys.
Gladys Gladys who?
Gladys' song is almost over.
Oh, me too. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Ivana.
Ivana who?
Ivana, drink your blood.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Frankfurter.
Frankfurter who?
Frankfurter lovely knock, knock jokes.
There you go, friends. We just gave you a whole sack full, or a whole crypt full, I should say, of knock-knock jokes for next Halloween. Now I would like to tell you one of my favorite little true stories. Once upon a time, there was a little boy named Jason who lived in a farmhouse. The farmhouse was situated, unfortunately, next to a graveyard. Jason slept in an upstairs bedroom. His bedroom was at the end of 13 steps. And the window of his bedroom looked out on that graveyard. Every night, Jason would go to sleep thinking about that graveyard and how he was upstairs 13 steps away from everybody else in the house. Well, one night, along about this time of the year, when the moon was full like it has been recently, the day started to end, and Jason's mama said to him, "Well, Jason," he said, "What, Mama?" She said, "It's about time to go to bed." He said, "Mama, can I sleep down here on the couch?" She said, "Now, Jason, you know better than that. We've got you a nice bedroom up there. You go on up there and go to bed." So Jason went walking up those 13 steps to his bedroom. He lay down on his bed. The wind started to blow outside. The leaves of the tree at the window scraped and scratched just a little bit. And Jason was just about to drift off to sleep when he heard something downstairs. It was a voice, and it said, "Jason." Jason said, "Who's that?" The voice said, "Jason, I'm coming up those stairs. Yes, I am. And I'm coming up there with a nickel in my hand." Jason said, "I don't want a nickel." He kind of pulled those covers up a little tighter around him. And that voice spoke again, only this time it was a little bit louder. And it said, "Jason, I'm coming up the stairs. Yes, I am. I'm coming up these stairs with a nickel in my hand, and I'm on the 3rd step." Jason said, "Mommy." But nobody answered. That voice spoke again a little louder. "Jason, Jason, I'm coming up those stairs. Yes, I am. I'm coming up those stairs with a nickel in my hand. I'm on the 8th step." Jason covered up his ears because everybody knows if you cover up your ears, you're safer. But even with his ears covered up, he heard that voice saying, "Jason, I'm coming up the stairs. Yes, I am. I'm coming up those stairs with a nickel in my hand, and I'm on the 10th step." Jason covered his head up and put himself into a little ball, and that voice said, "I'm on the 11th step. I'm on the 12th step. I'm on the 13th step." And then that voice louder than ever said, "Jason, I'm in the hallway. I'm coming down there to your room. Yes, I am, with a nickel in my hand." And Jason said, "Help." But nobody helped. Then he felt the end of his bed shake just a little bit. Only this time it wasn't loud.
It was soft, and it said, Jason, I'm here at your bed. Yes, I am, with a nickel in my hand, and I want you to take it. Jason said, I don't want no nickel. I just want to go to sleep. And he shut his eyes real tight. Then he opened them up, and it was daylight. And the whole night had passed. And he realized that maybe he'd been having a dream. And he turned over in his bed, and he looked there on the bedside stand. And on the bedside stand was a shiny new nickel. Take it! That is what's called a jump tail. Do you understand why? It's designed for somebody to jump. But some stories are just scary all the way through. And one of the most famous ones of all, you may be looking here, perched on the piano, is a raven. And I'm going to ask John Thomas to share with us now one of the most famous horror poems ever, written by Edgar Allan Poe. Yes, appropriate lighting, called The Raven. I would like to thank my good friend Terry Bailey for carving this raven for me from a solid block of wood. It's a beautiful little piece. Can you zoom in on it a little bit? It's very detailed. He carved it from one block of wood, even the tail feathers, everything. The only thing that's not wood are the little claw feet, but he's a master carver, lives in East Canton, Ohio. So thank you, Terry Bailey, for carving this for me. This is my favorite poem. It's called The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, rapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I sought the morrow. Vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that then, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance to my chamber door. This it is and nothing more." Presently my heart grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," I said, or "Madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so faintly you came rapping, and so gently you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, "Lenore." Only this, and nothing more. Back into my chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, presently I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see then what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven from the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not a moment stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched above the bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance he wore,
Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though his answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. But we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast above the sculpted bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing further than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my friends have flown before. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Startled at the stillness spoken by reply so aptly spoken, surely, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the melancholy dirges of his hope that burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven, still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This I sat and more, divining, with my head at ease reclining on the velvet cushion's lining with the lamplight gloating o'er. But whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight gloating o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed by an unseen censer, swung by seraphim, whose footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by his angels he has sent thee respite and nepenthe from thy memories of the lost Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget the lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil. Whether tempter tossed or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore. Desolate, yet all undaunted, on this home by horror haunted, on this desert land enchanted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aden it shall clasp a radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul has spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, take thy form from off my door. Take thy beat from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven still is sitting, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul, from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor, shall be lifted nevermore.
Thank you. All right. Quite a wonderful feat, as John Thomas shared with us here. A classic Halloween poem, The Raven, by Edgar Allan Poe. October is a wonderful month in many ways. It's a creepy month. It's also a bittersweet month. We wrote a song for the month of October, and we're going to share with you right now just a musical moment. It's called October Sounds Like Rain, and we hope you enjoy this song.
There's a mist in the rain, makes me remember when we kissed in the rain. The sun burns cold and there's a wind at the eaves. October looks like rain. There is fire in the leaves, and I remember what you said in the rain. The things we promised when we wed in the rain. October sounds like rain. How it rained. October gave our hearts a thrill. The apple-flavored days were sweet, but then a shadow sent a chill. I am beguiled with the rain. The wind is fierce, the air is wild with the rain. The days are hushed, the summer heart in me grieves. October feels like rain. Beguiled with the rain. The wind is fierce, the air is wild with the rain. The days are hushed, the summer heart in me grieves. October feels like rain. It drips, it drizzles, it makes a mournful moan. October sounds like rain, and I'm alone.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that song about October that John Thomas and I wrote. We have another song that my wife Patricia is going to come and share with you. This could be considered a sing-along song. If you want to sing along, you'll pick up on the sing-along part of the melody before very long. But it's a wonderful song for this time of the year. So come on, Patricia, and sing this song with us.
There was an old woman, she was an old crone. She wasn't a thing but skin and bone. Ooh. She thought she'd go to the church one day and listen to the parson pray. Ooh. And when she got to the churchyard stile, she thought she'd stop and rest a while. Ooh. And when she got to the churchyard door, she thought she'd stop and rest some more. Ooh. And when she got to the church within, she thought she'd stop and rest again. Ooh. She looked up, she looked down. She spied a coffin on the ground. Ooh. And then she to the parson said, will I look so when I am dead? Ooh. And then the parson to her said, yes, you'll look so when you are dead. Ooh. And then the parson to her said,
Ah, yes. Wonderful old song that Patricia shared, one of our family's favorites for the KCM Halloween Memorial that we're having here. For those of you who may miss Halloween or who may just be missing Halloween. And now, we come from Upper East Tennessee, where there's a lot of people with a family name Jenkins. There's actually a Jenkins Holler. There's a Jenkins Mountain. There's all kinds of Jenkins up there. John Thomas has a story to tell about one particular member of the Jenkins family. Share that story with us, John Thomas.
Okay. It's a story about a feller named Hiram Jenkins, who was a farmer up there in Upper East Tennessee. He owned one of the biggest farms in the country. But it wasn't a normal farm, as you will soon find out. Hiram's farm was enclosed by a big fence, so it was impossible for people to, cross over without a lot of effort. But Hiram kept to himself pretty much all the time, and it was a chicken farm. So he had little chicken huts all over that farm. Little chickens, you could hear them squawking, and kids would walk by on that dirt road by his fence, and they'd hear the cluck, 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 cluck. They'd hear all them chickens on Hiram Jenkins' farm just a clucking away. But it's funny because during the day, nobody ever saw them chickens, and nobody knew why. It's like, well, we can hear them in there, but we can't see them. But where are they? And everybody just guessed, I reckon they're just all inside the chicken huts. That's all I know. I guess Hiram don't ever let them out. But every now and then somebody'd walk by that property at night and they'd see some of them chickens rooting around in the yard out there. And they was waiting. They was waiting for Hiram to feed them. But Hiram always waited till after dark to feed them, and nobody really knew why. Well, there's a couple of fellers from the schoolhouse down there that got curious about that one day, and they said, you know what, I think we're going to find out what goes on when Hiram feeds them chickens, why they don't come out during the day, why they stay cooped up in them chicken huts all day long. We're going to find out. So they waited. They waited till the sun came up one day and it was kind of quiet. They could hear a few chickens clucking here and there, but they didn't see anybody around, so they found a loose board on one side of the fence over there. They went and they prized it loose a little bit, and they crawled under there, got all scraped up and dirty, but they didn't care. They wanted to find out what was going on with these chickens that Hiram was raising. So they went, crawled up under one of them chicken coops so they could get a view of the back door of Hiram's house. And they waited. They waited all day long, and they could hear right above their heads, and in that chicken hut they was hiding under, they could hear little scratching noises and little cluck, 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 just little clucks here and there. Well, finally, the sun went down, and it got real dark. And then all of a sudden, a big light come on over Hiram Jenkins' house. It's a big old halogen beam, and it just flooded that chicken yard with light. And that back door of Hiram's house opened up. He stepped out on that porch, had these big old heavy work boots on, and he's carrying a bucket in each hand. He started walking toward that chicken hut where them boys was hiding. He got to the hut, he opened the door, and they heard him sit those buckets down on the floor, and them chickens went wild. And they said, what is going on in there? So they found a loose board at the other end of the chicken hut, and they popped it up a little bit, and they stuck their heads up. And you know the sound corn makes in a bucket? Kind of like a rattly sound? Well, them buckets wasn't making a rattly sound. They was making a sloshy sound. Like slosh, slosh, instead of a corny sound. And all of a sudden, one of them boys said, what is in them buckets? And the other boy said, I don't know. And then he hit his head on the corner of that board they sticking their head through, and he went, ow. And when he said that, them chickens turned around, and their faces was covered with blood. Them chickens, them buckets was full of blood. And them chickens was eating it. And when them chickens saw them two boys sticking their heads up through the planks, they came running at him, and the last thing them boys saw was little fangs sticking out of the beaks of them chickens. Hiram Jenkins was raising vampire chickens. That's why they never saw them during the day, because they had to burn up. Well, them boys never saw the light of day. Nobody ever saw them after that. Everybody wondered what happened to them boys. And everybody said, I don't know, but I heard that they was going to go up to Hiram Jenkins' farm one night and see what was going on. Well, everybody's too scared to find out. So after that, every time somebody or person would disappear, or a kid walking home from school, or somebody went too far into the woods and they wondered what happened to them, well, they might have asked themselves what happened to them, but I think you and I both know who it was. It was Hiram and his vampire chickens. Now, I want to warn you about it. If you're ever up in East Tennessee and you go up near the old Hiram Jenkins farm, that fence is still there. But if I was you, I'd stay on this side of that fence, because if you dare cross over to the other side, you might run into one of Hiram Jenkins' vampire chickens and he'll suck your blood. So, fair warning, that's all I got to say about Hiram. Thank you very much.
Back, you fiend.
Well,
That's a true story.
There's the story of
True story.
Hiram Jenkins. There are many places to stay away from other than just Hiram Jenkins' farm up in East Tennessee. As a matter of fact, John Thomas has put together a song called Stay Away that we're going to play right now for you. And that song just warns you of many and various and sundry places to stay away from this time of the year.
And I wrote this with my brother, and it features him on the vocals, Amos.
Amos is singing this song along with his brother in this song. So go, boys, let's play this song. Hope everybody enjoys it.
Stay away.
Days are dark and nights are black. The week before November, and tales of dread and deep despair are all you can remember. When shades of red surround the moon, and shadows steal the light. If you should meet a sharp-toothed man, don't try to be polite, 'cause he's Dracula. He'll try to bite your neck, he'll hypnotize you, drink your blood, and leave you in a wreck. So stay away from Dracula's castle. You will be killed if you venture inside. Tear-away to in Dracula's castle, where there is no place to hide. Stay away from Frankenstein's dungeon. You will be killed if you venture inside. Tear-away to in Frankenstein's dungeon, where there is no place to hide. Frankenstein lives with his bride in a basement, waiting for humans to walk through his door. When he is finished destroying their bodies, they don't look like humans no more. So, stay away from Transylvania. You will be killed if you venture inside. Tear away to in Transylvania, where there is no place to hide. When children come to trick or treat and wear their scary masks, you'll notice one is drinking from a laboratory flask. Slam the door and lock it tight. Don't even ask him in, or you may never live to open any doors again. 'Cause he's Dr. Jekyll. He'll change to Mr. Hyde. He'll drain your blood and fill your body with formaldehyde. So stay away from the lab of Dr. Jekyll. You will be killed if you venture inside. Terror waits in the lab of Dr. Jekyll, where there is no place to hide. Stay away from the crypt of the zombie. You will be killed if you venture inside. Terror waits in the crypt of the zombie, where there is no place to hide. Zombies are dead, but they feed on the living. They'll eat you up from your head to your hands. If one calls and asks you to join him for supper, hey, tell him you have other plans. Alright, stay away from the tomb of the mummy. You will be killed if you venture inside. Terror waits in the tomb of the mummy, where there is no place to hide. In space there lives an evil man. He rules a dark domain. He built a planet of his own because he is insane. And if you're captured by his troops and thrown before his feet, be courteous and tell him that you really think he's sweet, 'cause he's Darth Vader. You'd better not complain. He'll cut you with his lightsaber and cause you lots of pain. So stay away from the Death Star space station. You will be killed if you venture inside. Terror waits at the Death Star space station, where there is no place to hide. And stay away from Cujo's doghouse. You will be killed if you venture inside. Terror waits you in Cujo's doghouse, where there is no place to hide. Cujo's a dog with a bad case of rabies. If he attacks, you won't know what to do. Don't try to give him a milk-bone dog biscuit. He'll take your arm with it too. So stay away from Stephen King's basement. You will be killed if you venture inside. Terror waits you in Stephen King's basement, where there is no place to hide. Where there is no place to hide. Where there is no place. Where there is no place. Where there is no place to hide. No place to hide. All right, Wolfman.
Thank you, John and Amos Oakes, for telling us all these places to stay away from next year at Halloween and all year in between. Well, friends, I've been looking at the clock on the wall, and I realized that when I started this program, I gave an unnecessary warning because I had planned on sharing with you the worst Halloween story ever. But I'm happy to announce that I'm not going to be able to tell it. There just isn't time. And I don't think my heart would endure it. It's just too awful. I'll save it. I'll see if maybe next year, come Halloween, if we live, I'll be able to share with you the worst Halloween story ever. So I hope, friends, you have enjoyed this Halloween memorial here on the KCM video time, the KCM marathon. support moment, and I hope that you will be generous in your support to KCM. We want to close out our show with one other song. This is a song that John Thomas wrote, and it's a song that just explains why none of us have to really fear anything in this world that scares us, because the time is coming when this mortal will put on immortality, and that's going to be a great moment. People have sung about that all over this world. The song that John Thomas is going to share with us now is one of those sacred harp, am I right? A sacred harp song that probably people back in the mountains sung quite a bit. And hope you enjoy it, and hope you have a wonderful rest of the KCM Marathon. Tommy Oakes and John Thomas and Patricia Oakes saying good night for now.
Immortal.